Welcome to our live summer job search bootcamp. I'm so happy to see you guys here. Today we are talking all about why you need a killer LinkedIn profile in 2024. Plus, I'm going to be sharing with you some content strategy ideas to help you become a thought leader or stand out as a thought leader on LinkedIn. So if you guys can hear me and you can see me and this live stream is coming through to you, because yes, we are live, make sure you hit the like button down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And then finally, make sure you say hello in the chat. I know a lot of you jumped in early. So happy to see so many familiar faces here. And if you guys are joining us for this live summer boot camp, we are here every other Tuesday with some strategies to help you conquer the tough job market. And of course, we can't have a summer boot camp without talking about LinkedIn. Now, I have some amazing slides to share with you. You'll definitely want to take notes or take some screenshots of these slides, because the information I'm going to share with you today is information you're going to be able to put into practice as soon as we wrap today's session. So say hello in the chat if you haven't already done so. I love the familiar faces, love the new faces too. So Ken is here from Northern Michigan. So happy to have you, Ken. Beth is here from Florida. Tim, of course, from Canada. Tim, I think we have a call today. Marang is here from Botswana. Love it. Beth is here. Says, after teaching for 26 years, I began the journey to transition into a new field in January. I can't believe it's taking so long. Beth, I'm going to share some strategies with you that will hopefully speed up the process. So happy to see you, Victoria. Michael is here. Christine is here. Janice is here. I saw Isabel in the chat earlier. Chrissy is here. OMG. I've missed you too. And I was on vacation as well, and I'm going on another vacation pretty soon. Nowhere big, but just a small drive somewhere with the family. So you guys say hello in the chat if you have not already done that. I am going to jump into today's slides. I'm also going to be at the very end of this sharing with you guys a special offer for our resume and cover letter makeover workshop. Now, this is something that we've only hosted a couple of times before, but we're doing it again because, again, we want to make sure that you are powering through this challenging job market. But I also have LinkedIn profile reviews as well at the very end. So you're going to want to tune in for that. Let's jump into the slides. Now, if you have not yet officially saved your spot for our summer job search bootcamp, you're definitely going to want to do that. When you save your spot by going to heatheraustin.online/live class, this is a free bootcamp, of course. You will get notifications for when we are live. You'll get replay notifications. I also send you extra emails for homework before each session begins. So make sure you go to heatheraustin.online/live class to officially save your spot. You'll just get a couple extra reminder emails from me about this session. Now, in the chat, you know I ask a lot of questions. On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your LinkedIn profile? So on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your LinkedIn profile? Now, I'm going to just share a quick story about myself in case we have some new viewers here. So I'm Heather Austin. I'm a university professor turned entrepreneur and career strategy expert. And about 15 years ago, I was started in all things academia, teaching as a university professor. I was an academic dean. I was a program chair, all that good stuff. And I taught for a really, really, really long time in that setting, and I loved it. I loved my students. I loved being in the classroom. But about 7 years ago, I realized that I wasn't sharing my message with enough people. I had 25, 50 students in my classroom, and I thought, you know what? Why not take this message and why not take these strategies to YouTube so that we could have someone, as mentioned earlier, from Botswana join us, or we could have someone from Michigan, or Tim from Canada, or whoever is wherever. And that's what we've done here on this channel. We've been able to help hundreds of thousands of job seekers secure top job offers and interviews at major companies, small companies, whatever that is. If you want to help us continue to grow this channel and reach more people, please hit that subscribe button. And of course, please tap the like button on this video. By you doing that, it allows this video to be seen by more people and it allows this message to get out to more people. And again, this is all free. So we want as many people to be able to digest and put into place the content and the strategies that we share on this channel. Now, let me share a couple of success stories with you. So we had John Robert wrote in, who said, thank you for your help. You don't know who I am. I don't, but I'm glad you posted this, John. He says, but this video and your channel generally are the most helpful resources I have seen on YouTube for career and job preparation. He said, I had an interview recently and I got the job. Eva wrote in and said, I wanted to thank you for your amazing content. I started with your how to use LinkedIn, build a better resume, and how to ace a phone interview in person, and I got the job. We also had Tony write in and said, I interviewed and got the job thanks to your videos. After I was hired, they told me 50 plus applicants were narrowed down to just 8. They said my interview stood out by far and the others weren't even close. He says, thank you for your help through your free videos. They were a tremendous help. And of course, that's why we do what we do. And then Nana wrote in and said, just an update. This girl's CV and cover letter video got me a job in a foreign country without the qualifications. So I'm hoping that you can take some amazing notes, put into practice what I'm going to teach you here today, and that you'll come back to the channel and give me an amazing comment like this because you got the job. That is our number one goal for you here today. Now, again, at the very end of this, I am going to be sharing where you can join us for our live resume and cover letter makeover workshop. Now, this is happening next Tuesday. This is not part of our job search series, which our job search series is free. This is kind of like a bonus session. After we talked about resumes last week, I had a lot of questions come in and I thought I need to have a workshop dedicated to just resumes and cover letters. And it's basically like a power through and we get your resume and your cover letter created during this session. Now, this is a private session on Zoom. It's not happening on YouTube. You do have to grab a ticket to get the Zoom invite link, to get the workbook, which by the way, I have the workbook right here. This is part of the course and or part of the workshop. And we also have a template pack with resumes, cover letters, so on and so forth, and lots of bonuses. I'll be sharing that with you more toward the end of today's session. If you stick around until the end, you'll also get information on where you can get an invite-only link to our next group career coaching and job search strategy session. That's also happening next week, and I want to look at my calendar. I think that's on July 25th. So on the 23rd, we have our resume cover letter workshop. On the 25th, we have an invite-only link to our next group coaching and job search strategy session where you get to ask me and other career experts your most pressing questions. And of course, we have some amazing content planned for you for that session. Real quick, this is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to first go over the 7 key components of a properly optimized LinkedIn profile that will help you attract recruiters and industry professionals. We'll then dive into 3 effective methods to craft an industry-specific a headline that captures attention. We'll then move into the 6 types of content to post in your LinkedIn newsfeed to position yourself as an industry thought leader. And then, of course, I can't leave this live training without sharing with you some of my favorite AI prompts to enhance your LinkedIn profile and your content strategy for maximum impact. This is where you're going to want to take some screenshots because the prompts that I'm sharing with you today, I have not shared before, not even with my Academy members. So you'll want to stick around for these brand new prompts to help you create and enhance your LinkedIn profile. Now, my next question for you, I want to know, how long have you been actively seeking or searching for a job? How long have you been actively searching for a job? Has it been less than a month? Has it been, maybe it's 1 to 3 months? Maybe it's been more than 6 months? Maybe it's been more than a year. Type into the chat how long you have been actively searching for a job. While you're typing that in, I want to jump into the 7 key components of an optimized LinkedIn profile. So we always start with our professional profile photo. Now, a lot of you I know have already uploaded an amazing photo, which is great. I'm going to share a couple tips with you as we are going through each of these sections So write this down because I don't have a separate screenshot for these. It needs to be a clear photo. It needs to be something that's recent. It needs to be high quality. Make sure it's professional. Make sure you're smiling. Make sure we can see your eyes. We don't want it too far back. I would always recommend something from the elbow up, something where we can see you. And then, of course, some sort of plain or neutral background. And I'm not opposed to having like some nature in the background, but I want you to be present in that photo. So that's always going to be the very first thing that we nail down when it comes to the LinkedIn profile. Now, the next thing is our industry-specific headline. In just a minute, I'm going to be sharing some methods to help you write an industry-specific headline. I'm going to be sharing 3 methods with you, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. And just some general guidelines when it comes to your headline. It needs to be compelling, it needs to contain keywords and keyword phrases, and it needs to be tailored to your unique skills. I'll show you all of that in just a second. The other part to an optimized LinkedIn profile, of course, is your catchy about summary. Now, the about summary is probably one of the most overlooked pieces of a LinkedIn profile. In all my courses and my programs, I teach you how to really craft an amazing about summary. We're not going to get into all the details of the about summary, but one thing I want you to remember is it needs to express your strengths, your achievements. It needs to tell a really good story, and it needs to basically tell your viewers or other professionals on LinkedIn who you are and how you help them, right? And then, of course, there's a certain character limit, and inside of our programs, we have templates, and I give you step-by-step guidance on exactly how to do this, but just know that that's part of this optimization. Now, the next part to this is a detailed work history, right? So the detailed work history is going to be similar to what you have on your resume, but because it's LinkedIn, you can speak in first person. So you can make it more casual, you can make it more personable, you can add more character to it. You can add a lot more to the work section on LinkedIn than you can on a resume. And I'm not saying more as in more data, more information. I'm saying more personality and more character. And of course, it's going to look very similar to what your resume looks like. The other part to your LinkedIn profile is, of course, any sort of education and certifications. So why is this important? Why is it important for me to add these to my profile? Education or certifications? Well, if we're adding it, it's showing the employer, the recruiter, the industry professional that you're taking action to do things that are related to the industry, that you are adaptable, that you can go grab a certification or learn a certification that applies to your industry. And of course, if you don't have a formal education or you don't have a certification, I would highly, highly, highly recommend finding something in your industry that you can start now in terms of some sort of additional training that shows that you're really interested in the industry and that you are adaptable. The next part of this is our relevant skills and endorsements. Now, when I was putting today's presentation together, I thought, oh my goodness, I could do an entire discussion on just skills and endorsements. And trust me, I want to do that, but I have other things I want to share with you that would make today's presentation go pretty long. So what I will say here, and we do teach this in our programs as well, is when it comes to the skills section, I want you to add only the skills that you want to be known for right now. And let me back up, because I don't want to say only those skills, because you're going to have a couple other skills there. But when you're ranking your skills, when someone goes to your profile, they can only see 2 of your skills. You need to make sure that those are the most relevant skills, and that's what you want to start getting endorsed for. That has to be on your skills page. Now, again, inside of my programs, I teach you how to ask people for endorsements, how to endorse other people, and of course, we dive deeper into the skills section. Recently, LinkedIn, they have a really big push, if you haven't noticed, on skills-based recruiting. So what that means is a recruiter is going to go to LinkedIn and they are going to search for a specific person based on their skills. Well, the only way that they know if you have those skills is if you've included it on your profile in some way. So there's a lot we could go through with the skills section, but just know you want to include those skills that you want to be known for, keyword specific skills. Get very specific with those skills. Don't just say leadership. What type of leadership? Don't just say management. What type of management? Let's get really specific with what those skills are. And then, of course, we want your connections to start endorsing you. And when I get to the profile reviews, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about with the skills. Now we have influential recommendation. So this is where someone is writing a recommendation for you, vouching for who you are and what your talents, your expertise, your skills. They're saying, hey, I know that Alan is amazing at this. I'm going to write a recommendation for Alan or for Dustin or for Angela, whoever it might be, telling others on LinkedIn how great I think they are. Now, inside of our programs, I also have resources for you where there's templates that you can ask someone to write a recommendation for you. You can even type up the recommendation in a draft form for them so that they can quickly look at it, change a couple things, and post it to your profile. So we want this to be as simple and seamless as possible. So these are the 7 sections of your LinkedIn profile that must be optimized. So take a screenshot of that. Let me see where you guys are in terms of how long you've been looking for a job. I'm seeing a lot of, this is across the board. Let's see, Alan says forever. Carolyn says 11 months. Ken says 2 years. Beth says 6 years. Kathy says just starting. You're in the right place, Kathy, for just starting. Kevin, hello. So happy to see you, says 5 months. Todd says 3 months. We have 1 month, 6 months. Okay, this is all over the board. So we want to streamline this process as best as possible. Deb says, hi, Heather, I'm back on. So happy to have you, Deb. So here's another screenshot you can take as well. I'm a big proponent of visuals. This is another visual that just shows what you need to optimize on your LinkedIn profile. Profile photo, headline, which I'm going to share some tips with you on the headline, the about section, the experience, education and training or certifications of some sort, your skills and endorsements, and your recommendations. So make sure you guys are working on these sections if you are in the process of optimizing your profile. Now, my next question for you, of all the pieces that we were able to see here today, which section of your LinkedIn profile needs the most work? So type that into the chat, which section of your LinkedIn profile needs the most work. While you're typing that in, let's jump into step number 2, which is the 3 effective methods to craft an industry-specific headline that captures attention. So I'm going to share with you 3 methods, and I want you to keep a mental note of which one's your favorite as we're going through this. The first method is probably by far the easiest. This is where you're going to list your desired position title. You're going to separate that with a vertical line, and then you're going to just list industry-specific hard skills. You could even add some soft skills in here as well. I put hard skills because a lot of times those are easier to measure. So let me show you an example or a couple of examples of what this looks like. So let's say that I'm a senior graphic designer. I'm going to say senior graphic designer, and I'm going to separate that with a vertical line, and I'm going to say something like specializing in, and I'm going to give those key skills: logo design, web design, brand strategy, visual communication, so on and so forth. And you're going to pick keywords that you know your employers are looking for. If they're not looking for someone with web design, replace it with something else. If they're not looking for someone with visual communications, replace it with something else. If we look at the Director of Public Relations and Marketing, that's the title that we want. That's the title we want. The key skills required for that, I'm just listing them. I'm separating that with a vertical line, and I'm saying campaign management, email marketing, SEO, and CRO. Well, if they're not looking for someone with email marketing and it's a different skill, you need to switch those out. This is by far the easiest method to writing your LinkedIn headline. If you do not at least have something like this, I want you to do that now. The second method is we're still going with our desired position title. We're then going to have those industry-specific hard skills, but here's what we're adding: a value proposition. Don't get scared by what a value proposition is. All this is the unique value or the benefit that you bring to the table. What value do you bring to the table? Let me show you some examples. We're going to take our senior graphic designer example again. And I'm going to say web design and brand strategy. So notice what I've done is I've taken some of those key skills out because I want to leave room for what my value proposition is. And my value proposition is creating visual stories that captivate and inspire. This has to be tailored and targeted to your specific industry, the position, the employer, so on and so forth. If we take our Director of Public Relations and Marketing position again, I'm listing some of those key skills, campaign management and email marketing, but I'm adding my value proposition, streamlining operations for efficient project delivery. Now, believe it or not, there is one more method. So this method, similar to method number 2, however, instead of us adding our value proposition, we're adding a results-driven achievement statement. So instead of the value proposition, we're adding a results-driven achievement statement. Let me show you what that looks like. Same examples, same people. We're still looking at our senior graphic designer. I have some of those key skills in there. And now instead of that value proposition, I'm giving them a results-driven achievement statement. Catalyst for 20% boost in client transactions with 200 plus successful projects. Now let's look at the Director of Marketing position. Same thing. I have the title, I have the key skills, but now I'm listing the results-driven achievement statement. Developed comprehensive PR strategy resulting in a 30% increase in media coverage. So, is this making sense to you? Type into the chat, yes, if this is making sense to you. If this is making sense, pop in an emoji, heart the video, whatever you want to do. Let me know that this is making sense. These 3 methods to writing your LinkedIn headline. Let me see where you guys are with what's the most challenging part of LinkedIn, or what part of your profile needs the most work. I'm seeing a lot. Marco says the summary. I'm seeing a lot of the summary. Let's see, summary and skills. Headline is a big one. It looks like summary is a really big one. Ken says employment history, headline, skills and endorsements. Yes, good. This is so good. And by the way, at the end of this, at the end of our boot camp here, we are going to be hosting a 3-day LinkedIn mini series again. This is a series that I host live once, maybe twice a year, and I bring all the updated information that is happening inside of LinkedIn, and I present it to you over like 3 days. We have a bonus session in there. That will be available not for a little while, but just know that that's coming up, and we do dive into these a little bit more. I love it. That's a tongue twister. Tim, let me see. I want to make sure that Tim's question is popping up on the page. It looks like it's all skewed at the top. I'm not sure what's happening. Okay, so Tim says, how often should we try our different headline? This is a really good question. I think depending on the industry, depending on the position again, you can alternate this headline every couple weeks if you wanted. You can alternate it once a month if you wanted. I would probably say closer to every couple weeks, unless you are set on a headline that is really good and really working. If you're getting connection requests, you're getting messages from recruiters, and they want to know, hey, we want to interview for this position. And if they're finding you and your headline is catching attention, you can keep it. But if you notice that some of that dies down, you can change it. Yes, good question. Let me see if I can move this. I don't know why the question's showing up strange. Maybe, I don't know if it's showing up strange for you guys, but it is for me. Any length considerations for headlines? Yes, you do have a specific character length. I don't recommend, I know some of these things are really long. I want your headline to be as short and direct and catchy as possible. I feel like those work the best. However, sometimes adding in some of those extra things like your unique value proposition or a results-driven achievement statement, that can catch attention. Now, I also want you to use AI to streamline this process, so I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. So I don't want it to be a super long, drawn out headline. Get as specific as possible. Yes, and Carrie had mentioned characters and everything is 220 inside of the headline. So you can't go more than that anyway. All right, let's see where we are okay. Let's talk about the 6 types of content to post in your LinkedIn news feed. And of course, this is to position yourself as an industry leader. So I'm going to share 6 separate types of content that you can start posting right away. So of course, the very first one, which is probably the easiest, is any sort of inspirational message, right? So this could be a motivational quote. It could be a success story that resonates with your professional journey in some way. Like, for example, you could say something like this is and I don't have a separate screen for this, but like a Winston Churchill quote, right? He says something like, overcoming challenges is what makes us stronger. He goes on to say, success is not final. Failure is not final. It's the courage to continue that counts. Like just a random quote by Winston Churchill. But what could happen is in that quote or in that, and it could even just be a quote that you share. You don't even have to share an image if you don't want to, right? You could talk about, hey, how have you turned setback into a success? Like you can start asking your audience because that's what's going to increase engagement. So that's one type of content idea that you can post on LinkedIn. The next one would be anything industry related, news or research. So this is what the benefit of doing this is showing that you're up to date with the latest news trends, research findings in your field, industries, anything that is happening. If you're able to post like some sort of link to an article, maybe you read an article recently and it's really fascinating to you. Inside of our courses, of course, I share with you specific examples of all of these images, text, video. This could be done in a lot of different ways or just text, like keep it simple, but industry related news and research. Now, of course, articles or blog posts, that one's really easy as well. Let's say that you published your own article on LinkedIn, or maybe you're using an external blog, whatever, right? You could link to that. You can write your own lengthy or long form content post. That's another thing that you can post on LinkedIn. Another thing that you can do, which this is one of my favorites, this is what I normally do, is simple how-to or educational tips, right? So this is going to show any sort of practical advice, step-by-step guides, or anything that might help other people in your field. So again, it could be like, hey, here's like 5 things that I learned about X, Y, and Z, or here's 3 tips that I learned, or here's 3 things that you can do to do this. So think of like in your own industry, how can you start standing out? So when a recruiter, which I'll show you in the LinkedIn profiles in just a second, where a recruiter can see your newsfeed, they can see what you're posting and how active you are. So the more active you are with thoughtful content, not just random whatever comes to your mind, I'm going to throw this out on LinkedIn. I'm talking about thoughtful content. The more action you're going to get on your profile, the more engagement you're going to get, the more people are going to view your profile, and you start standing out to more people. Photo and video updates, that's another really good thing. In fact, one of the things that I love is like if someone goes to a conference and they're like, hey, I just attended this conference, and it's like a selfie of them at the conference, or maybe it's a group of them together at a conference. You could use this as an opportunity to post a photo or a video of some sort and say something like, hey, I had an amazing time at this conference. And you could even talk about, here's what I learned, or here's my top 3 takeaways. That's another easy thing that you could post. And then finally on this, any lessons learned, right? So insights that you've learned from your professional experiences, or anything that can provide value to your network, right? So, there's so many different things that you could think about. What I want you to remember when it comes to all of this, don't make it complicated. If it's just something like a text-based post, make it a text-based post. If you have time when you want to add an image or a visual, do that. If you have time when you want to add a video, you can do that as well. But make it as simple as possible for you so that you're at least getting out there and making traction on LinkedIn or gaining traction. All right, of all these things, quick question for you. What type of content are you going to post today on LinkedIn? So notice I don't say tomorrow. I'm saying what type of content are you going to post today? Type that into the chat. So of those 6 things that I shared with you, if you're brave enough to do it, which type of content are you going to post today? Now, before I jump into the LinkedIn profile reviews, I want to look at AI prompts that are going to enhance your LinkedIn strategy. Now, I talked about this during the last training session that we did, our last boot camp session. There's 2 AI tools that I'm encouraging you to use. The first one, of course, is ChatGPT. That's the one that I use. You can get that and it's free. You can use the free account by going to chat.openai.com. Okay, so create an account there if you haven't done that yet. Or you can also go to Google and use Gemini, and that's gemini.google.com. So these are the 2, I would probably say, mainstream, most popular AI resources that you can start using that are free. Now, you have to, there's so many caveats I could share with you about AI. If you've been to any of my trainings, you know that it's not always accurate. You have to double check the information that it shares with you. But if you give it some good prompts, the better the prompts you give it, the better the results you're going to get when you go and use these resources. Now, I have been experimenting with playing around with Gemini a little bit more. I still like ChatGPT. This is my favorite. I like this one. I do have the paid version, and sometimes I go in between the free version and the paid version just to see if it's going to be something different. Sometimes I even go to Gemini and I ask Gemini. But ChatGPT is still my favorite. However, Gemini has picked up steam for me in the last couple of months. So they're obviously doing something amazing at Google to make it even better. So you're going to want to screenshot these last 3 slides, these prompts. So this is one of the very first prompts that you're going to use, or that you can use, to help you create an effective headline. So I'm going to say something like, hi, I'm telling my AI friend what skill or value that I bring, right, to my work and then I'm going to give it that desired position title. And then I'm going to ask it, how can I create a LinkedIn headline that showcases my unique value proposition and attracts potential employers? So notice that we're going to be creating a headline that adds the value proposition. So this is screenshot number 1. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds to screenshot this. Yes, Envy for it says, I prefer ChatGPT versus Gemini. And I've heard of a lot of people that actually love Gemini more. So I think it could be a preference. Just depends on what you're using the most and if you're getting the results you need. In terms of what you guys can post, I'm seeing a lot of people on, Jackie says an inspirational quote sounds easy. That's the easiest. That's actually how I started when I was posting on LinkedIn and started my own business and I was trying to get the word out there. That was the easiest thing for me, was to find inspirational quotes and talk about what does this mean to me in my life. I love that. We have lessons learned from the video, inspirational messages. I love it, Alan. Emmanuel says industry related news. Oh, I love this. Beth says brief commentary on a recent industry article. Yes. And I also love the idea of asking your audience a question in that post. I think it's so important not that I do that. I don't do that all the time. I should spend more time and think of really thoughtful questions to ask you guys when I'm online posting on LinkedIn. But to get that engagement and to really get thoughtful conversations going, ask some sort of question while you're sharing that article or while you're sharing that post. All right, next prompt. This one's a little bit smaller because there's a lot in here. So this one is your about summary. So now we're asking our AI friend or our AI assistant to help us write my LinkedIn about summary. And before I do that, I'm saying, here are some key points about me. So it needs to know who you are before it helps you write your summary. Now, we have a very, very, very specific template that we follow inside of our programs that actually tell you, put this in paragraph 1, put this in paragraph 2, then do this to the next section, and then do this to the next section. So we have a very specific formula that we follow, and you can apply that formula to AI. But if you don't have that formula, if you're not in any of our programs, this is a good starting point. So you're going to tell it what your passion/interest is. You're going to tell it what your professional goal is. And notice I'm saying professional goal. You're going to talk about your area of expertise, the value addition. So again, this goes back to that value proposition. Describe how you add value to your employer. A notable achievement. So notice what we're doing in the summary. We're taking all those methods that I taught you in the headline, and we're giving it to ChatGPT or our AI assistant, and we're saying, put this into a summary for me for LinkedIn. With the areas of expertise, that's where those skills are. The value addition, that's my value proposition. And then the notable achievements, that's my result-driven achievement statement. So you're going to list all of that plus a call to action. How do you want people to engage with you? I always recommend some sort of email. I don't highly recommend giving your phone number unless it goes to like a Google. Does Google even do voice anymore? I don't even know. I'm not even sure if that's a thing, but I would always recommend at least leaving your email for them to reach out to you really quickly and connect. So take a couple seconds, screenshot that. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. My comments are looking all ski-wampusy, but I want to put this up for a second. Kara Lee says the LinkedIn AI wrote my headline section. Yes, this is a fantastic option. Let me talk about this for just a second before I share this last prompt with you. If you are a premium member of LinkedIn, they do have their AI assistant. I have not used the AI assistant in LinkedIn. I don't know how good it is. I would love to know, any of you that are here in the chat today or watching this video or whatnot, I would love to know, is it performing for you like you want it to, right? So let me know in the chat. I like to have a little bit more control. So I would prefer to use another AI assistant like Gemini or ChatGPT to ask it those questions rather than the LinkedIn AI assistant, but that could be because I'm not using it very often. All right, next prompt. I'm glad you mentioned that though. Okay, this one relates to your prompts for strategy, posting content, your content strategy on LinkedIn. So just a couple of things here. Let me see if I can highlight these while I'm going. So this one would be, hey, what are some inspirational messages related to, and then give it your industry that I can share to motivate my network? Pretty easy, right? So let's say you like, what should I even share? Like go ask ChatGPT what you should share or ask your AI assistant. Now, another one is, hey, can you provide examples of industry related news and research I can post to keep my network informed? So it's going to give you lots of ideas here. The next one is, what are some engaging topics for articles or blog posts I can publish on LinkedIn to demonstrate my expertise in, and then give it your industry. And it's going to give you lots of ideas. Once you get those ideas, you can then say, hey, can you help me draft a blog post? Can you help me draft an article? And of course, we always want to use our own wording and we have to proofread everything it's giving us, but this is a really good starting point. The next prompt is, hey, can you please suggest simple how-to or educational tips in this industry that I can share to add value to my network? And then, of course, asking it about the lessons learned. Can you suggest some lessons learned from this industry, experiences that I can share to show my growth and insights? So if you're having a hard time thinking of what to post on LinkedIn, we now have some AI prompts to help you get some ideas on what to post if you're having a hard time thinking of that. All right, screenshot that, and I'm going to take a question. Let's see. Marco says, how do I put in good prompts for someone transitioning to a new career and starting college? This is fantastic. Tell it what you're doing, Marco. So you could say, hey, I'm transitioning from this career to this career, and I'm also starting college. Here's the program I'm starting. Here's some of my transitional skills, and then ask it the question. Like, can you help me write a really amazing LinkedIn headline? Can you help me write a really amazing about summary? Can you help me write an amazing cover letter? So give it as many details as you can about your situation, and then ask away. And then of course you can always start refining those as well. All right, what I want to know from you before we jump into reviews, profile reviews, what is your biggest takeaway so far from today? So we covered a lot. Now, you guys have access to the replay. If you're confused about anything that we mentioned, or you want to just go back and listen, make sure you go back and re-listen to some of these concepts that I shared. What is your biggest takeaway today? I want you to pop that into the chat. Now, before this session, of course, all of our folks that were registered for this session officially, they get links to join us. They get extra homework assignments. A lot of you had mentioned that you want the right recruiters and the right companies to discover you, right, on LinkedIn, that you want to attract higher quality career opportunities. Some of you even mentioned that you want to more confidently make connections with other professionals in your industry without feeling awkward. Because again, remember I said, what's your biggest LinkedIn challenge? Some of you even mentioned that being a thought leader, so some of these things I shared with you sounds really intimidating, but it also sounds intriguing, and it's something that you really want to do. Some of you even mentioned that if I'm going to go post on LinkedIn, I want to make content that is impactful and that sparks conversation, right? That creates engagement. Now, with all of this said, I know that most of you who are here and all of you guys that are playing big with me in the chat, you're sharing your how long you've been looking for a position. You're sharing all this amazing stuff. I know that most of you that are here, that you're looking for more rewarding work, that you want a life-changing job offer that allows you to have a better work-life balance, right? To spend more time with people that you love, and doing things that you love. So I want to invite you, again, this is our ultimate resume and cover letter makeover workshop. It's a live interactive workshop to secure top job offers and boost your earnings. And again, this came about because we had so many questions after our last live resume workshop during our boot camp session that I thought, let's take a deep dive into resumes and cover letters. And of course, let's have our workbook available. Let's have our template pack available. And this is all on Zoom, where you get to interact with me and my team and ask us questions. And we really deep dive into that resume and your cover letter. Here's the thing. This is going to be another live session. This starts on Tuesday, July 23rd. So a week from today, at 1 p.m. Eastern. Let me share a couple success stories with you in terms of people that have joined us in some of these sessions. So Kevin reached out and said, had to give an update, but finally got a job offer thanks to Heather and all of her help. In fact, every interview I had received an offer from. That's our number one goal for you. He goes on to say, so if you're searching or have been laid off, trust me, you'll find something. Hang in there. It always gets better. And then Lynn wrote in and said, I just landed my dream job through referral using your networking tips. Surprisingly, this position was not even posted anywhere in LinkedIn or Indeed. And we've been talking so much about that hidden job market. So that's another strategy that we teach in our programs. Now, I want to share a quick clip with you before we jump into LinkedIn reviews with one of our clients, Pam. So let me pop her up for a second here.
So I'm Pam Pridgeon. I'm a senior contract manager for Allina Health. We're one of the largest care systems in the Twin Cities. A person that I work with had, I'm not going to say insider information, but information about the organization that we all knew we were having financial difficulties and we had a reduction in force coming. We just didn't know where it was going to hit, who it was going to hit, or how it was going to all play out. I didn't want to get caught being part of a RIF and not have everything in place to start looking if I needed to. I had not updated my resume in 15 years, maybe. Very outdated from just what the market's looking for today. I knew I needed a refresh, but I wasn't quite sure how to do that myself. And so I had one person that I work with who signed up with somebody to let somebody else write their resume. Very expensive to have that done. When I learned what she was paying for that, I thought, wow, okay. And what was interesting is her finished product and my finished product, after going through your toolkit, followed all the examples, your action statements on how to write, your results oriented components of it, the refresh on the LinkedIn page under, kind of that about me. It was interesting because I felt like I actually liked mine more than I liked hers.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, you paid for this. Okay. I
Yeah.
think I got a better deal here. I redrafted my resume. I came up with a few different versions of cover letters, which I had written a cover letter, obviously, in many, many years. And then I went through and used it to update my LinkedIn page. I made the effort to go out and get references. You talked in some of your videos about AI and the automated deselection almost is kind of how I took it, that you go through when you send stuff through portals or online, and making sure that, the right buzzwords were in there depending on what I was applying for, and then tweaking as I kind of applied for different things. And I did test it. There were some positions that, looked interesting. So I applied as we got closer to the RIF, and I figured, might as well look. It was interesting. Once I updated my LinkedIn profile piece, I suddenly had a lot of people reaching out to me, but it was really kind of bizarre to me because I had people reaching out to me from completely different industries, wanting to know if I wanted to leave healthcare and go do contracting in some other industry. And that was a new experience. So
Yeah. Is there like a specific aha moment that you can pinpoint?
when you actually started talking about your jobs, the more action-oriented and results-oriented statements, it had never occurred to me to write it in that fashion. And I felt like once I understood that concept, actually sitting down and writing my resume was really easy because I just pulled out all my performance reviews for the last 10 years with all of my goals. I guess the big aha for me was this isn't my job description.
What was the most beneficial or played like the biggest role in your job search?
The template, the resume template. One, because again, in some of your videos, you had talked about how you format so that you don't get kicked out from AI. I felt like the template gave me the framework, and then I could write what needed to go in the framework. But one thing I did do was I didn't start with a blank sheet of paper, but I didn't start with my old resume either. I didn't want to be boxed into old ways of thinking. So it was, okay, that's that. This is my template. Now, how do I take what I do today and the successes I've had and put that into this template? So for me, the template was golden. And we were all proofreading each other's stuff. And I actually, people ask me who wrote mine. Oh, I wrote it with
That's awesome.
And then the templates for the cover letters. Like I said, I had not had to write one of those. I mean, everything that I had written down, and it's funny because I had a notebook that was just about like job related stuff. All the questions I had were answered in what you presented in the materials.
Okay, so this is what I love about Pam's story, and I'm sure a lot of you can resonate with what she said, is that she learned how the proper strategy to write a resume, and that her coworkers were even like, "This your resume, well, she was thinking that about her coworkers' resumes, right?" And she talks about understanding those achievement statements and formatting the resume to get past the ATS, because I know that's a question that a lot of you had. That was one of the things that we had so many questions about. And folks in the past have said, hey, once I figured that out and I figured out that component, I was actually getting interviews and I was getting callbacks. But before that, we've had people submit resumes and applications for hundreds of jobs, right? And until they learn the right strategy, and then it doesn't have to be hundreds. It's only a couple jobs. It's a handful of jobs. She also mentioned about the templates, which I'll share the link with you guys in just a second, where you can join us for this workshop. She talked about the templates being the framework for everything that she was doing. And her colleagues were saying, hey, who wrote your resume? It looks so good. And she's like, I did. So I want to share with you guys what is inside, or what we are going to be covering during this live workshop. I know there's some questions here that Carrie wants me to answer, so we'll get into those as well. Let me jump to this page right here. So this page is our enrollment page if you decide that you want to join us inside of this live resume cover letter makeover workshop. So what we're going to talk about, just kind of from the top down, we're going to talk about, of course, that essential framework for building a customizable ATS resume, right? So that's really where we focus on, because we want to elevate your resume beyond the bots. We're also going to talk about the resume summary, right? This resume summary is so important, and it's so important that it targets employer-specific pain points. So again, we're talking all about this live next week. We're also covering a simple formula for turning your responsibilities into achievements, which again is something that Pam mentioned, right? That she was having a hard time doing until she learned the proper strategy on how to do that. Of course, we're going to cover the cover letter, and I'm going to be sharing with you 3 types of cover letters that give your resume that extra boost. Because let's say the company doesn't want an official cover letter from you, that's okay. We still need to know how to tell your career story so that you can show them why you are the best candidate. Inside of the workshop as well, the live workshop, we are going to cover our signature 5-part cover letter framework. So this is where we take the cover letter piece by piece. And by the way, inside the course workbook, we have all of that in there for you. So it's exercises that you're going to be doing with us during the live session, and really piecing your own cover letter together. We're, of course, going to be talking about a smart approach to using artificial intelligence. So I am always finding new ways to use AI and new prompts to get the best results. So that's also going to be covered during that workshop for both your resume and your cover letter. Because I don't want you to spend hours and hours and hours on this. I want you to streamline it with AI, but you need to know what to ask AI, and you need to know the proper formatting, procedures, all that good stuff. When you put those 2 together, it streamlines the entire process for you. And instead of applying for 100 jobs, it's now more like 5 or 6 or a handful of jobs, right? And you're getting callbacks from those positions. Now, inside of the workshop, we're also giving you some amazing bonuses. So when you enroll, you'll have immediate access to our job interview confidence training. So that's our very first bonus. So this is where you're going to learn the 4-step system to master your next interview. This is where we talk about answering the most common interview questions. We cover questions that you should ask your interviewer. We cover managing your nerves and anxiety in an interview. All the amazing good interview stuff is covered in there. And then we also have another bonus session, or another bonus, which is our 120 plus AI-powered prompts for job seekers. So you'll get 120 plus prompts, but you get an additional training on how to use those 120 plus prompts. So that's in there as well. Of course, our LinkedIn job search blueprint. Let me talk a little bit about this, because we are talking about LinkedIn today. That's bonus number 3. This is actually how many hours? I think it's 5 hours of content specifically related to LinkedIn. So we dive deep into each of those sections of optimizing your LinkedIn profile. We dive deep into job searching on LinkedIn, the proper job search alerts, where you're going to find these jobs, how to narrow in on the 10 top jobs rather than the 100, right? So again, it's all about streamlining the process. And then we also dive deeper into specific things that you can post on LinkedIn inside of the newsfeed. So that is a bonus with your ticket. All of these are bonuses with your ticket to the resume cover letter makeover workshop. The other bonus that we just added, and this is an exclusive VIP bonus, is our 3-part job search mastery mini series. So this one is 7 additional hours of job search training. So we cover everything from, oh my goodness, there's so much in this bonus. We talk about your resume some more. We talk about your cover letter. We talk about the 7 parts to the job search process. We talk about LinkedIn again. We relate everything to the job search process and how to get you that job offer or those job interviews quicker than going about it alone. So that also is included inside of the workshop. That is included with your ticket. These are all instant access bonuses. All of these bonuses that I'm talking about, you will have access to right away. In fact, I highly recommend diving into that before we even meet up for the session next week. Now, of course, our insider bonuses is the template pack. So all of your professionally curated resume and cover letter templates and examples are inside your template pack. And that one you also have access to immediately. And then you also have access to your, notice that's the same picture, right? You also have access to the Ultimate Resume and Cover Letter Makeover Workbook. And you need to bring that workbook with your templates to the training. So we're going to be doing all of that live. Now, I always give you guys a fast action bonus because we love our fast action takers. If you are one of the first 20 to enroll, you will be able to join us for our 60-minute group career coaching session next week as well. So our cover letter resume workshop is on Tuesday. Our group career coaching is on Thursday. If you are stuck in the job search, if you're wondering what your next steps are, if you're getting more rejections than anything else, you need to be in this workshop. Not only if you are the first 20, will you get all of those amazing bonuses, instant access to, you'll also be able to join us next week during our group coaching session. We actually have a special guest presenter coming to this session, and we're going to be diving into personality testing. And I'm so excited about this and really honing in on positions that are a really good fit for you. Here's the thing with this workshop. I have to emphasize this. Spots are limited. We do not have room for everyone to come. This is going to be held on Zoom in a private Zoom webinar room, and spots are limited. Once all those spots are taken, we can't sell any more workshop tickets because that's our limit on how many people we can have in the workshop. So if you're thinking about joining us and you want to join us inside the program, let me share this slide with you really quick. And then of course, I'm going to share the link with you, and Carrie can even pop the link into the chat as well. Everything inside of this workshop, so we've added it all together, the template pack, the workbook, all the training that you're going to get while we are live, plus all the bonuses, is worth more than $3,000. All of it's worth more than that. If you join us today during this training, and again, this limited time offer expires on Tuesday because that's when the training is held, you will be able to save 75% off the full price. So here's what it looks like for you. We're not going to give this workshop to you for $3,000, right? We normally sell this for $197, but today and before our workshop starts, you can join us in this workshop for only $47. I don't even know if we have anything cheaper than that, right? For $47, you can join us inside of that workshop. We normally host this workshop for $197, but for this special limited time, we are going to do it for $47. And again, the first 20 people will be able to join us on Thursday as well. So look at it as a double header on your career, on your job search, so that you can land those offers and those interviews a lot faster. Now, all you need to do if you want to join us is go to heatheraustin.online/live offer. So there's 2 links that you'll find today. Live class, which is your registration links for our summer boot camp, but live offer is your registration link to get your ticket for the resume cover letter workshop that we are hosting next week. Let me pop into the chat. I know Carrie has shared that with you. Let me pop into the chat. Let me see if this is the right one. And then I'm going to pin it to the very top. Yep, that looks like it is. So heatheraustin.online/live offer. So make sure you go there. I'm going to pin that message to the top of the chat. If you are joining us live, you can grab that. And you can also use the link if you are joining us on replay. I know a lot of you guys watch the replays of these sessions. So that session again is going to be held next Tuesday, July 23rd. I can't even believe, I'm like, what month are we in? The summer months go so fast for me. Now, the final step, once you go to heatheraustin.online/live offer, we do have secure checkout where you can use PayPal or a credit card. So you do have the option to use PayPal. Let me share a couple more success stories with you. Leah wrote in about making the money she wanted, all while having a hybrid work schedule. So she says, I was applying for jobs when I could, but I wasn't getting results. I came across you on YouTube and revamped my CV according to your template and watched your videos on interview prep and the one on job interview confidence, which by the way is a bonus inside of the resume cover letter workshop. And I just accepted an offer for a project coordinator role at a great employer. She says, I found the CV template really helpful for the stories for behavioral questions when interviewing. She says, this means a lot to me and my family, and I'll be bringing in the money I wanted and working hybrid. So let me just tell you, Leah's message, this is the reason why we do what we do. Now, I have 4 kids. I have a family. I know what it means when someone in the family lands a life-changing job offer, because it does change lives. So whenever I hear about people and how it is changing their family and their lives, that's why we do what we do, so that we can reach people all over the globe and get success stories like this. Here's what Spencer wrote in. He says, he landed the career and the job he wanted. He says, the first time in 30 years, I go home feeling good about the day and excited about the future. He said, I followed Heather's ideas to a T and it all worked. Now he goes on to talk about, he's a drug counselor, right? So he helps people overcome addiction. He says, I write all of this to say that Heather's work not only helped me, but empowered me to help countless others. So he's helping people with addiction find jobs and overcome their addiction and get back into society. He says, it is the gift that keeps on going and giving. And again, Spencer's message is the reason why we do what we do. He says, I got the career and the job I wanted, and you can too. Aaron wrote in and said, your resume, cover letter, and interview guidance successfully helped me to receive 2 job offers. And here's the cool thing about Aaron. She only applied to 2 jobs, and she got job offers from 2 of them. She didn't go apply to 100 or 50 or even 10. She applied to 2. And she says, and all of that even after working part-time in her industry for over 10 years. She said, I was concerned that I would not find a job in my industry, and with your guidance, I was able to find, and she says, my dream job, because I know that that's, is dream job real? But in my opinion, she's telling us this is real. It carries the benefits of increased pay and, more importantly, work in an area which I find rewarding. I truly believe it was your method of guidance and teaching that led me to successfully receive these 2 job offers. So here's what I want to mention about these stories I shared with you. With Leah, she mentioned how it changed her family. With Spencer, he mentioned how it's changing the addicts that he's working with in his job. With Aaron, she's talking about this is what I find rewarding. And she's helping herself and probably her family as well. That's why we keep doing what we keep doing. Now, at a glance, let me just share with you guys, just to recap everything that is inside of the resume cover letter workshop. If you decide to join us, we're going to be doing 6 high impact resume and cover letter lessons. These are taught live. Next week, these lessons are taught live. After that, or before that, actually, you're going to have access to our job interview confidence training. That's included in there. You'll also have access to our AI-powered job search prompts and tutorial. You'll have access to our LinkedIn job search blueprint, which I mentioned earlier is over 5 hours of LinkedIn training. You'll have access to our VIP bonus, which is our 3-part job search mastery mini series, which is 7 additional hours of job search training. our insider bonus, which is your professionally curated templates and examples, our essential cover letter guide and workbook, which is, well, it's actually our resume cover letter guide and workbook. That's in there. And then, of course, if you are part of the first 20, which these spots will be gone today, you will get an invite link to our 60-minute, and I say 60, but sometimes they go a lot longer than that, our group career coaching consultation next Tuesday. So the workshops are on Thursday. That's the coaching. The workshop's on Tuesday. The group career coaching is on Thursday. All of this inside of this whole entire package retails for over $3,000. We normally sell this for $197, which is still a freaking deal, right? But today we are offering it to you for just $47. Now, if I don't know, I don't even know where else you can get this type of content at this value anywhere else on the internet, and I will stand by that day in and day out. So if you want to jump on this opportunity, please, please, please do, because this is an opportunity that does not come around very often. So I want to share Heather's story, and then we'll jump into LinkedIn reviews. She said, I landed a job. Your resume and cover letter advice helped me get an interview with almost every company I submitted to and an offer that was well above the salary range quoted. So if you guys want to have success like all of these amazing people, and let me change the link on this slide because it's not live class. Live class is our summer boot camp, and that's free, right? Live offer is our resume cover letter makeover workshop, which again is an additional training to our it's an additional training to everything that you're getting in the boot camp. It's a deep dive. In fact, I want to say I do get this question a lot. Someone will say, how long will the workshop be? It's probably going to be 3 hours. It will honestly probably be. In fact, I asked Carrie about this weekend. I'm like, Carrie, are you up for that? And I like to say 2 to 3 hours, but I feel like last time we did this, it was close to a 3-hour session. So we don't leave anything out of this. We put everything we can into this training, and we've only held it a couple times. We don't know when we'll do this again live, but you will have access to this live. Now, someone had asked earlier, Victoria had a really good question. I want to participate in this workshop, but have a prior obligation for next week. Is there another time to take this? Next week, Tuesday the 23rd, is when it is held live. However, when we wrap the live session, you will have access to all of these lessons once they're done downloading from Zoom. So we take them from Zoom and we put them into the online course portal. When you sign up for your ticket today, if you're not already in our online course portal, you'll get added to the online course portal, and you'll have access to all the bonuses that I mentioned earlier, and you'll actually have access to your workbook and all of your templates. And then there's a placeholder in there that will show you, well, it gives you the link, of course, to join us for the session on Tuesday. But there's a placeholder that if you're not able to join us live, you can go back into your online course portal and you can watch the entire workshop. So that will all be available for you. Awesome. Isabel, so happy to see your question. Is this resume offer meaningful if we are already in World Class Career Academy? She says, is World Class Career Academy including all the tools needed? This, in the academy, yes, you have access to pretty much all of this, but you don't have access to that live training component in that time frame. So if you want to join us for the live session, this live session is not included. We have not added that to the academy just yet. This is a standalone piece of information or a standalone workshop that we offer to folks who may not be able to join us in the academy. They may not be able to join us in the toolkit, or folks that just want additional training in addition to everything else that they may already have access to. I mean, you could go to YouTube and you can sift through all the information, you could piece it all together, and that's free. But do you really want to take the time to do that, right? Like we streamline the entire thing for you. So if you're interested in joining us in the workshop, definitely. Okay, Martin had asked a question earlier. Is there a cultural difference between US and Europe in tone or topic for LinkedIn posts and how they're received? here's what I would recommend, Martin, because I don't know exactly if we're talking Europe, there's lots of little areas in Europe, right? Like what area would that be? I would definitely do your research on, you're going to keep with a general etiquette, right? And yes, there are people that are more direct than other people. And does that depend on where they live on the planet? Sometimes, I would just, if I were you and I had a post that you were second guessing, is this going to come across different with the folks in the US or with the folks in Europe? I would ask AI, like, hey, what are your thoughts on this, right? And share that post with it. Let's see. Okay, and I got Marco's question. The other question, Jasper, any thoughts on that? I don't use Jasper. I think you're talking about, let me just see, what is Jasper? Oh, Jasper AI. I don't use that. That's on X. Yeah, I don't use X often. If I need to use an AI tool, I use ChatGPT or I use Google Gemini. All right, who's ready for LinkedIn profile reviews? Type into the chat if you're ready, because I have some amazing profile reviews to share with you guys. I'm going to share with you exactly, if you're ever in any of my programs or one of my clients, kind of what I look at when I'm looking at LinkedIn profiles and giving you advice and tips on what to do to make your profile even better. So we are going to get into that. Let me share my screen with you on that. But if you're ready for the profile reviews, type yes into the chat. And welcome to all of the amazing folks that are joining us in the Resume Cover Letter Makeover Workshop next week. I'm so excited to have you guys join us. I can't wait for you to get your hands on all the content and all the bonus material. Please, please, please jump in and get started today if you haven't already seen some of the material. And it's only going to make next week's workshop even better. All right, let's do reviews. So I'm going to pull up. I got to put this screen right in front of me. And okay, I'm going to do Patricia. So Patricia, if you're here, let me know. All right, got Patricia's, got her LinkedIn profile up. So I'm going to kind of just go through. So again, if you did sign up for the boot camp series that we're doing this summer, one of the homework assignments was to submit your LinkedIn profile for review. So if you have not yet signed up and you want to participate in things like this, make sure you save your spot for that. That's heatheraustin.online/live class. And you'll get notifications about the event. Plus, you'll also get notifications about if I need your profile to review it online, right? So Patricia submitted her profile for review. We're going to kind of go through it just from top to bottom really quickly. So I'm going to give a couple, just some guidelines to follow here. One thing I love is she put the voice addition of the voice on the profile. So you guys can see there's like a megaphone. And if I needed to know how to say her name, if it was a hard name to pronounce, like if you have a name that's hard for people to pronounce, I highly recommend doing that voice note. Now, the other thing I've seen this voice note used for is like a business owner that wants to just add more a personal touch to their profile. They're like, hey, come and join me for X, Y, and Z, or I am whatever, or here's my unique value proposition. So you could almost use that voice note as just re-saying your LinkedIn headline or mentioning something else in that LinkedIn headline. Don't make it long. In fact, I'm not even sure. I was going to look at my LinkedIn app to see if it's showing me how long that can be on there, but I wouldn't make it long. Just be really short and quick. If you have a confusing sounding name or someone might not know what it says or how to pronounce it, then use that. Now let's take a look at the cover photo. It's a computer, someone working pretty general. I think that's okay. She is saying that she's a service desk analyst and an expert in IT support and customer service. I love this. In fact, her headline is actually pretty good. The photo though, I didn't know, I know it's a stock photo. I'm not opposed to that. The one thing I didn't love about the photo, and again, Patricia, this is just nitpicking at this, is notice the white screen of the photo. You guys can't see my cursor is hovered over the white screen, but that's like a photo that normally I'd plant something on top of, like a workshop link or a workshop page or something to that effect. So that was confusing me a little bit. I don't know if I would use this. I like the flat lays that are that have a little bit more vibrant color. I would like with maybe some green, like you've seen those before, like a green plant. I would try and like see if I can incorporate that if that's the feeling you're going for. Now, profile photo, I can kind of see you, but I want to see you closer to the camera. Also, if you can, I know that you're wearing glasses in the photo. If you can, because of the shine, like you can probably see there's a glare on my glasses now. I would take your glasses off and I would smile. I would show us your smile. If you don't want to show your teeth, that's okay. You don't need to, but at least give us a smile in your face and then just come a little bit closer to the camera. That could be as simple as, I think your background where you're standing is okay. But if you can get in front of a window so that the light's coming in a little bit more and I can see you a little bit better, that would be the only change there. All right, experienced service desk, analyst, expert in IT, passionate about enhancing user experience through. Okay, this is great. So what you're doing here, you've actually followed pretty closely what we would say as method 2, where you're giving us the title. The word experienced, I don't love that, because when you're looking at job titles, I want it to be the exact job title first. So rather than experience, that's like one of those overused words. I would start with service desk analyst. And then I would say, you could even do service desk analyst in IT support and customer service. Actually, I don't even know if I would do it that way. This one I'm not opposed to because you're saying IT support and customer service and service desk analyst. Those are all really amazing keywords. And then you're saying passionate about. So this is where you're talking about enhancing user experience through proactive solutions. If you wanted to make this shorter or more simple, you could take out passionate about. And then let's bring that passionate about inside the summary, right? But just say enhancing user experience through proactive solutions. This to me is your value prop, which I think is good. We could shorten it a little bit, take out experienced, take out passionate about, and just leave some of those other keywords in there. And of course, if you're ever looking for a position and it is giving you other keywords like not IT support and not customer service, switch those out. Put the keywords in there that are directly inside that job posting. All right. Okay, let's look at the summary. So summary comes right under that. Again, this is, I think you have a really good start here. You're talking about your associate's degree first. Academic journey was driven by passion. My professional experience includes. Okay, here's what I love about this is that she's speaking in first person, right? So a lot of people sometimes carry that formality from a resume over into LinkedIn, and you don't need to do that. This is where you can say me, my, I. You can say things like, I am passionate about, this is what excites me, this is what my expertise are. So I think you've done a really great job there. What I would love to see in this summary, Patricia, is I want to see some bullet points. So let me show you. I'm going to just pop over to my summary really quick so that you can see what I'm talking about. Is notice the first couple of sentences, or excuse me, paragraphs. They're short and sweet. So if someone needed to reach out to me or whatever, or they were reviewing my summary or my about summary, they're going to read it pretty quick, and then they're going to jump into these bullet points. Now, these are not results-driven bullet points like as if I was a job seeker. In fact, you could come over to my profile and copy this bullet point link or icon and paste it into your profile. I would love to see somewhere in here, this is broken up by some sort of bullet points. And these bullet points are going to be, well, in my how I teach it is in your resume, you have your career highlights. These are your career highlights, and you can take them right from your resume and pop them right onto here. And of course, you can change them and make them sound more interesting and engaging if you need to. But I would love to see, I like the content here, and I like the use of so many amazing keywords like Active Directory management, hardware troubleshooting, proactive support, IT support, all customer retention. These are all amazing. Let's just break this up with some bullet points so that if I'm a recruiter or a hiring manager and I'm jumping over to your profile, I don't stop here. I need something to keep me going. I also teach you inside of my programs how to do these headlines inside of your summary. So for example, notice I'm capitalizing visit me on YouTube. That's a headline. Free resources, that's a headline. Expertise, that to me is like a headline, right? Because in the summary section, you can't edit. Like it doesn't give you the capability to edit, at least not now, or to add fancy bold or, like you can't actually say this is a header, but you can do that by capitalizing something. So I would say, let's like add a header that's like career highlights and then give me some of those highlights. Here's another awesome thing she's done is she's included the skills inside the summary. So LinkedIn, I mentioned to you guys earlier that LinkedIn is going with a skills-based recruiting approach. So that's why these skills are becoming even more important than ever, that you include them in your profile. And LinkedIn gives you certain sections on the platform that you can add the skills. The summary is one of those. So let me just show you, for example, so that you know how to add that. If I'm on your profile, or this is mine, there's a little pencil icon at the very top of the About Summary section. If I click on edit that's a pencil, I can go in and notice at the bottom, after I've written all my stuff in here, I can now say skills, and it says show your top skills, add 5 skills you want to be known for. They'll also appear in your skills section. So in mine, career development, LinkedIn training, resume writing, job search strategy, interview prep. I might even want to, let's say, reorder these so that LinkedIn training's at the top. Maybe I even want resume writing to be switched up. I would highly recommend adding those to your skills section because of that skills-based recruiting approach that LinkedIn is going after. So notice once I save that on my profile, I'm done with that. And it's now LinkedIn trainings showing up first, resume writing, so on and so forth. So can you guys see that? Is this making sense? If this is making sense to you and everything that I'm sharing about this, the summary and the skills, type yes in the chat. And again, I'm so excited for all of you guys. I can see it's showing all of you that are joining us in the session next week, the resume cover letter makeover workshop. So excited to have you guys. It is going to be a blast. And Carrie, I'm sure we're going to have lots of questions, so we'll do our best to get all of them answered while we're there. All right, let me go back to. Let me find, I just lost Patricia's email or Patricia's profile. There it is. Okay. Let's go down to activity. So activity is the other thing that a recruiter will see. In fact, I'm going to click on follow back because I see that you're following me. So I just followed you back, Patricia. The activity is what other people see when they go to your profile and actually view your profile. I get to see your followers. Again, inside our programs, we teach you specific strategies to build up your followers and your network and so that engagement increases. I can see that Patricia hasn't posted anything in 7 months on LinkedIn. See where it says 7 months? Let me go see when I posted. Will it show mine? I posted a week ago. I didn't even tell you guys about today's session on LinkedIn. So that's how bad I am. I know that I need to be better, but notice if I'm a recruiter and I'm looking at some of your content, I'm seeing where you're at, I want to see that you're active on the platform. I want to see that you're doing those industry thought leader posts, that you're sharing how-to content, that you're going to conferences, that you are learning something from an amazing article from someone in your field or just something that you read. I want to see that. So make sure that it's actually saying she's reposting some things 4 days ago, 5 days ago. I can look at show all posts if I wanted. I'm not going to do that. but notice that this is what recruiters or hiring managers will see. Let's talk about the work experience section really quick. So we have our title here, and then notice what she's doing is she's saying contract and contract. I don't want you to put that. I don't want to see contract, and I don't even want to see remote, unless that is going to influence a hiring manager for the better to hire you or to bring you in for an interview or to give you the job offer. If it is not going to help your case, I would take off anything that's like contract, remote, whatever. Like I want, even though it is a contract, that's great. You're still working, you're still doing that work. I would love to just see the title, right? I can see that you've been there for 1 year and 7 months. That will be really great for employers as they're looking for someone that has your skills. I can go to see more. I like that she's actually using the little star icon for the bullet point. And I like that she's doing bullet points in here. Really make sure if you are going to do bullet points in the experience section that they are results-driven achievement statements. So this is something we're going to be covering in the workshop next week. But when we talk about those results-driven achievement statements, I even talked about this in our free workshop last week a little bit. And I shared some examples with you where we need to show them what we've done, but what is the result of what we've done? What's the impact we've made? What problem are we solving? So this is a really great start, but let's get into really the task and the result. So for example, let me just point this bullet point out. It says, resolved account permissions and access issues via Active Directory, Identity, IQ, and other internal account systems. So by you resolving those account permissions, what happened? Did it increase productivity? And by how much? Did it decrease costs? And by how much? Did it increase revenue? And by how much? So really, we want to now start thinking in terms of all of these amazing things that you've done. These are all amazing, but what was the result of that? If this means that maybe you only pick 4 of your most powerful bullet points and put them here, then I would do that so that it's not long and drawn out, right? But again, we do want the detail, but we want the right detail. Service desk analyst, I would remove contract again. This is great. You were there 2 years, 5 months. This is perfect. Again, this looks like it's coming directly from the resume, like a bullet point copy and paste. With LinkedIn, you can add more. You can add, in fact, let me just show you what I've done with mine is I'm saying, hey, as the founder and creator of ProfessorAustin.com, I am on a mission to empower professionals with top-notch career guidance. I specialize in providing yada, yada, yada. And then notice I have some bullet points here, right? And again, I'm not writing these like a job seeker where I'm going to really make sure that these are results-oriented and whatnot, but you can add a nice little fun paragraph that talks about the passion, that talks about that shows your character a little bit more, and then give us the bullet points just to add a little bit more interest. So I would do that with all of these. I think this is a great start. This is probably what's on your resume. I would say really evaluate these and make sure you are doing the results-driven achievement statements, not just for your resume, but also for your LinkedIn profile. Now, you'll notice each position here. So if you're on LinkedIn, really evaluate your own profile. You can add skills to each position. In the past, I have said before, I did not like this when LinkedIn first introduced it. I was like, what? I don't like that. It doesn't look nice. Like I didn't like how it appeared on the screen. But guess what? I don't even care about how it looks now because they are going with that skills-based recruiting approach and you have to get skills on your profile. So let me show you if you're going to add those skills. And I'm kind of bouncing back from Patricia's profile to mine so that I can show you more of the back end and how you do that. There's an edit the pencil icon on your experience section. All I need to do is click on that if I'm editing the position. And then I need to edit the actual position. And notice I can change the title. I can change my description. Here's where the skills are again. Notice it says we recommend adding your top 5 used in this role. These are also going to appear on your skills section. LinkedIn, did I talk about the 100 skills? They're allowing you to add 100 skills to your profile, which I don't love because I'm like 100 skills. Like I just want to focus on the top like 20 or 30, right? If you have the time and you can sort and organize your skills so that 100 makes sense to you, I'm okay. Like whatever, you can do that. I'm not a big fan of that approach, at least not now. But in Patricia's, I think it says that she added 9. I would keep it to 5, right? And notice these might be a little bit different than what I have up on my summary, or maybe they're the same. And maybe I'm mentioning things a couple times. That's okay. So that's where, and let's say again, I wanted to bring up my resume writing a little bit higher, or I wanted my career development coaching, whatever that is, but they are recommending adding 5. I mean, I could add more, but I would stick with that recommendation. Let me go back to Patricia so I can show you guys what I'm meaning by that on hers. So notice it says she has this Genesis Cloud and 9 plus 9 skills. So she's adding more than that. The reason why I'm liking just the 5 that they're recommending is notice how in my skills, it will show all 5 of those. Well, let me go back so you guys can see what that looks like. Well, it gives me the top 2 and plus 3 skills. Let's see on the summary. Yeah, it gives me the top. You know, I've only put 5 into my summary and only 5 into each work experience section. So make sure you're really looking at that and adding the ones that you want to show up first. So if, let's say, and I feel like Patricia has done a great job with this and her skills already. If root cause analysis and Active Directory, are those the most important ones from that position, then whatever you need to do, reorder those, right? So that the most important ones are showing up first. Okay, same thing with the support agent, customer service, get rid of the contract piece. You might even have part-time on there, some of you. I would get rid of that. Just list the position title. And then go through, and if you can, add like a nice fun paragraph that talks about your passion for that position, and then some bullet points, 3 to 4, that are results driven. That's how I would have your work experience section written out. Education, that's perfect. Notice this little icon that's on the side of her education. It's like a square and it has like 2 circles in it. That means that she doesn't have the Everest University online linked to her education. Look up and see if Everest has a, let's see, I'm sure they do have a page because it's highlighted. Let me just see. They should have a page and maybe they don't. So if they don't have a business page, that's what shows up. If they don't have, well, okay, let me take that back. They could have a business page, but they might not have uploaded a logo. You always want to try and get it to link up so that you can get that logo to show up in there. Licenses and certifications. I love this. So again, remember when I mentioned earlier, education and training, licenses and certifications are the exact same. If you don't have one, if you have nothing in this area, please go search out some sort of education, training, license, certification, anything to show that you are adaptable, that you're moving forward in your career, that you're passionate about what you're doing, that you are in this industry and you're moving forward with this industry by bettering yourself, your skills, your talent, so on and so forth. That is, I love that. That's a good one. And especially because it's so related to what she's doing. Okay, let's talk about the skills section really quick. So I mentioned earlier, LinkedIn allows you to add 100. And I think because of that skills-based approach, plus I think because they're allowing you to add skills to your summary now and each work experience section, I want you to keep in mind the top 2 skills need to be listed first because that's what people are going to see. You have Windows and Team Viewer. Are those the most important skills for your field? Are those like hands down of all the things that you do, the most important skills? Let me show you what I mean by switching them all around. So I'm going to scroll down all the way to my skills training or my skills section. Notice I have LinkedIn training and resume writing. Those are my top 2 that I have listed. I have over 100 people endorsing me for these skills. I want my top 2 to be on the very front page. So if I need to edit those, I'm going to click on that edit icon inside of the LinkedIn window, the pencil icon. And then notice here, I can actually click on, it's like the 3 dots here. If I click on those 3 dots, I can say reorder. And notice I can now, let's say I wanted career development to be at the very top. I can now click on career development and I can drag that to the very top, right? I have adult education, higher education, curriculum design, so on and so forth. I might not even want to have those on my profile anymore. Or maybe I want more of my career development to be up higher. You have to decide what your profile is being used for and who's going to see it and what are the top 2 skills that they need to see. Then from there, you get those top 2 squared away. Then you can go in and you can start saying, what else do I want to have on here? I have career strategist, career counseling, training and development, educate, like some of these are random, right? I want you to get as specific as possible with your profile. So let's go and look at Patricia's skills here. Microsoft Teams, IDAP, LogMe, Access, email management. Patricia, I would highly, highly, highly recommend, and for anyone else watching this, go through this skill section on your profile, reorder them by order of importance, and pick out the top 2, 3, 5, and then make sure they are as specific as possible. So for example, we have phone communication. Let me show you on mine. If I were to, let's say I want to add a skill, I click on the plus sign. Let's say that I started typing in leadership. Well, notice I could include just leadership. I want you to get as specific as possible. Team leadership, cross-functional team leadership, leadership development, educational leadership, organizational development, yada, 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 team building, strategic leadership, change management, thought leadership. I want you to get so specific with this profile and your skills, making sure that you're keeping tabs on the companies and the positions you're applying for and what they are looking for. And if you need to come in and reorder these and add things and do whatever you want to do to make sure that your profile is getting noticed with this skill section, then definitely do it. And see, notice I'm like, oh, okay, I got to develop skills, yada, yada, yada. It's like, I don't know if anyone's going to really look at that. It's mainly probably for the SEO on LinkedIn. And we want to really hone in, I would say really get 10 to 20 skills, and you litter those skills throughout the profile. And I have a prompt that I teach my students and my academy members and my clients. And even I've taught you guys on how to get those skills out of the job posting, the top skills that they are looking for, and add it to your resume. I want you to do the same thing and add it to your profile. All right, let's jump back because I want to look at her, I was going to say recommendations, but we don't have any yet, which is totally okay. We just want to get, if you can, Patricia, I would start reaching out to a couple people that have either managed you or supervised you or even coworkers that you've worked closely with, and I would start working on getting some recommendations added. That's going to appear right below the skills section and right above the interests. So that pretty much touches on those 7 sections that you need to optimize in your LinkedIn profile. Is this helpful to you guys? Let me know in the chat that this is. I would also love to know before we sign off for today, what your biggest takeaway is. So we covered LinkedIn in detail. We covered a LinkedIn profile. Patricia was amazing enough to share her profile with us and let us pull it up here for all of you guys to see and go through it. What was the most impactful part of today's session? I want to see if there's any last minute questions that we can answer, Carrie, and then And then I want to see what you guys think is the most impactful part of today. Oh, I think Carrie's done such an amazing job getting these questions answered. I love it. Kathy has a question. I'll answer that in just a second, Kathy. So again, remember our training for next week, which is our live resume cover letter makeover workshop. If you're interested in joining us for that, you're going to want to go to heatheraustin.online/live offer. Let me show this screen really quick one more time. Can you guys see that? I feel like oh yeah, you guys can see that. It shows up a little bit different on my end than it does for you. During the live session next week, we're going to be covering 6 high impact resume and cover letter lessons. This is what we're doing live. Oh, plus I didn't even mention, we're going to be reviewing resumes and cover letters live as well. We're going to have, once you enroll, you'll have instant access to your job interview confidence training. You'll have instant access to your AI-powered prompts and tutorial. You'll have instant access to your LinkedIn job search blueprint, which is 5 additional hours of LinkedIn training. You'll have instant access to our 3-part job search mastery series, which again, that's like an additional 7 hours of job search training. You'll have instant access to our professionally curated templates and examples, both for resume and cover letter. All of this is located in your online portal. Once you enroll, you get access to your online portal right away. If for some reason the emails are taking a couple of minutes to get to you, you can always email us at heather@professораustin.com. We'll make sure you get access to the portal today. Like you'll be able to get in and start accessing all the amazing stuff. You'll also have our second insider bonus, which is this. This is our resume cover letter makeover workbook. You need that workbook for next week, and you need your templates for next week if you have not already started on your resume. Now, we are also doing the fast action bonus, which I'm assuming it's probably gone, but the fast action bonus will be for the first 20. You will get to join us next Thursday for a whole entire separate career coaching session. We do have a guest expert joining us next Thursday. So for all my Academy members, you guys are already invited to that. You will have access to that link. So we do have a guest expert joining us next week. I'm so excited for that. And by the way, you guys will also get replay access. So if you are not able to join us on Tuesday or Thursday, you get all the replay links. And then of course, lifetime access to the curriculum and the template. So there is nowhere else out there online where you can find this much value for $47. So if you guys want to join us there today, go to heatherausten.online/, heatherausten.online/ I know my website name is strange. heatherausten.com was not available when we were purchasing the URL. So I'm like, let's do heatherausten.online. And I don't think .online ever really picked up, but we just kept it, right? And then /live offer. That will be so that you can join us in the resume cover letter live workshop. Again, if you can't join us live, you will have access to the replay, and it will all be inside of your library. All right, Kathy had mentioned when I have 15 gap years, can I use leadership, volunteer roles, and experience? Yes, 100%. In fact, Kathy, I mean, you could use what we would call like a hybrid resume format. I still would love to see you start with our master resume format and kind of work it from there, where you can include highlights at the career highlights after your summary. You can include other things like, and again, some people would call this like a functional resume, which I don't love, but the hybrid I'm okay with if we have to. I still like the traditional format where it's reverse chronological, but 100% you can use those leadership and volunteer roles. I love that. And then Marco, I did answer your question about transitioning. Yeah, I think we got all those answered. Let me see where you guys are in terms of what has been the most impactful thing for you going into this. So Tim says, I got my emails right away. So someone's probably saying, I didn't get my email. And if you're not, give it some time. Sometimes when we do these trainings and we have a large number of people enroll, we have a lot of systems that you go through. The online library is like, what's happening? Why are all these people in here? And it like slows things down because it wants to make sure we don't have bots coming in and attacking the system, right? So that could be a delay. If you haven't seen it though, within like an hour or two, email us at heather@professoroustin.com. Tori, she is my amazing virtual assistant. She's in the inbox with me. She will be helping me there. So she'll also get the email as well. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of amazing takeaways. Tane says, yes, just discovered that my education for TL Hardy, my search profile was missing. Oh, shoot. Hopefully you're going to get it in there. Kathy, biggest takeaway, reviewing a LinkedIn profile. Stuart, LinkedIn profile reviews. I love the reviews so much. For me, that would be what would help me, just to see someone else's profile, to see what does it look like on another person's computer. What did they see first? What are they looking at? What should I change to make my profile better? So hopefully, based on the information that I shared about Patricia's profile, hopefully that helps you guys just make changes to your own. Yes, Tom says the same. The actual review of a person's profile. That's great. Alexia says learning how to reorder the skills. Good. I'm seeing a lot about the profile reviews. I'm so glad you guys shared that, because maybe we just need to do profile reviews on the next show, and I will just share with you like a few teeny tiny LinkedIn tips, and then we'll do reviews. I think I might try and do that next time. Christine says the AI prompts as well. Yes. Adrian loved the reviews of Patricia's profile. Thanks, Patricia. Yes. Great. Deanna, so happy you're here. Says, should we use the LinkedIn career break? I've heard positive and negative options. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad that you answered that. So me and Carrie had a discussion about this last time we did a training on LinkedIn. So she had done some research on it, because and this is based, and Carrie, I don't know, I can't remember. I don't think, there was a video. If you can grab the video, Carrie, and if you can't find it, that's okay. But if you can grab the video to that, she's answering Deanne's question in the chat. See if you can, and we can pop it in the chat for people. But we found an amazing individual who had posted a video on LinkedIn. I think she was a career coach or a recruiter. She has access to the recruiter version of LinkedIn, and they don't see the career break. So if you do put career break on there, for some reason, they don't see it on their end. We're still trying to figure out why that is. If I had to pinpoint something, I'm wondering if LinkedIn is afraid of showing that to recruiters, if recruiters will see it and say, oh, they have a career break, I'm not going to hire them. I don't know. That's pure speculation. But yeah, Carrie mentioned that to me last time we did that training, which I'm so glad that she did that research to figure that out for us. And then she's just saying, Deanne, Carrie saying, make sure to include upskilling, etc. Yeah, anytime you can upskill, anything you can do to show that you are just making yourself better in the industry, whether that's like a volunteer position, a contract position, a freelance position, learning a new skill, licenses, certifications, things like that. Haha, Martin, I love it. Martin says, has your opinion changed on the open to work banner, to have or not? No, it hasn't changed. I'm not a big believer or a big fan of the open to work banner. I just think I'm not like, I don't want to be mean, but it kind of is just desperate and tacky. I don't love it. I would rather you go in the back end of your profile and change the settings there to show recruiters that you are open to work without the banner. Hey, that could change though. That could totally change. In a year, in 6 months, LinkedIn might make a change to the interface and maybe it changes that. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Then I'll tell you, but for now, I don't love it. Yeah, so anyone wondering about the career break, thanks, Carrie, so much for grabbing that. The individual's name is Melanie Woods, and she does a full tutorial on that career break on LinkedIn. So make sure you take a look at her video. Yes. Awesome, you guys. That was a blast. We covered almost 2 hours. That was almost 2 hours of LinkedIn strategy right there. If you guys have not yet done so, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Those few little things will help this video get seen and heard and watched by more people. Just those two simple things help support us. It actually allows us to keep moving forward and keep doing what we do. If you have a success story you would like to share with us, you could go post to any of my videos, give us that success story, send us an email. When we get those success stories and we hear from you, that's what keeps us going, because we are all about the business of not just changing your life, but changing your family's life, changing the people around you, because we know that as a mom of 4, and my oldest is 16 years old, and I'm trying to get him to go get a job at Chipotle or the smoothie shop right now. His resume is tip-top shape, but I know how important those job offers are, and that life-changing job offer and what it can do to a family and how it can improve your lives. And we are here to help you do that. So whether that's you decide to join us in our resume cover letter makeover workshop next week and purchase a ticket in that, if you decide to join us in some of our other programs, or if you decide to just join us on YouTube, or by the way, we have a podcast now. If you're deciding to watch the podcast, free content, paid content, it does not matter. We are here to help you guys with those life-changing job offers. Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, make sure you sign up for all the good stuff, and I'm going to see you guys in the next live session or in my next video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will all be in touch. Bye, guys.